Nice set of interviews there, Spanners, and it was interesting when you were saying to Selena how she got room in her suitcase for that winner's medal. The way she's going, she might have to have room in her suitcase for the massive winner's trophy and the £1,000. So, yes, maybe she'll be nipping out for a bigger suitcase after this. Now, we're moving over to the final race of the round 3, and in this one, obviously, we have all the remaining drivers who we've yet to see in that third round, which is Johan Medart, Tyler Mays, Stephen King, Ruben Boutons, the 6 times British champion, looking for 7th this weekend. Andrew Duff is in there too, George Massey, Ben Churchill, Richard Jute, Robin Kassam and Matthias Grooten. So, well, there's 2 world championships in the form of Matthias Grooten. There's 2 world championships in the form of Ruben Boutons in this race. So it's not to be sniffed at, this one. Johan Medart's capable of winning. Tyler Mays we saw struggling earlier on, but hopefully he will be back up to full speed that we know he can deliver. We've been seeing great performances. Richard Jute has won this weekend. Robin Kassam has been running at the front. Stephen King, we saw great showings from him yesterday, and of course Andrew Duff has been putting in some very impressive midfield runs too. So really it's going to be quite a tough one, I think, this one, Spanners. Any race that Ruben Boutons is in, you can't rule him out for the win, but never can you rule out Matthias Grooten.
Well, sometimes we're quite lonely down here in the pit lane, but look, we've filled up with, I think, is it the Belgian contingent that's come down to join us?
Well, they've got 2 very strong Belgians. I should imagine it's a solid blue star in the background there, Spanners. Talking of Belgians, it's worth pointing out that one of the drivers in this race, Matthias Grooten, is one of the organisers of the Belgian National Championship. So anyone who's racing here this weekend who fancies competing in the Belgian Championship, they need to be speaking to Matthias Grooten or Greg Laporte. Greg Laporte, many people know him through Facebook and everything else. The Belgian Championship is only about 40 miles away from the Dunkirk port. So from a British point of view, it's not a bad foreign race to compete in. So then, the karts are on their qualifier now. Richard Jute was the first out to qualify, and he's looking very impressive. Johan Medart, of course, is out there, but Ruben Boutons is about to start his qualifying lap. Always something to keep your eye on when Ruben Boutons is on track, particularly in a qualifying run. One of the masters of qualifying. He needs pole position for this. He really needs to be winning this race to help his British title chances for his 7th successive victory. So the flag is out. The lap time is going to be coming in. We've got Kassam on the pole position at the moment. Richard Jute goes fastest. From Kassam and Duff and Mays. Johan Medart is now quickest. Johan Medart and Matthias Grooten, the double world champion. George Massey goes through to 6th. Ben Churchill is 5th. What about Ruben Boutons? Ruben Boutons goes quickest. Ruben Boutons currently fastest, and Stephen King 4th. So Ruben Boutons will start from 1st place, followed by Matthias Grooten, followed by Johan Medart. Stephen King, fantastic performance there to finish that qualifier ahead of Richard Jute, Robin Kassam, then Ben Churchill, Andrew Duff, George Massey and Tyler Mays. So Tyler Mays, we're not used to seeing him at all making a 10th and last place start, Spanners.
No, that's incredibly surprising. Not so surprising at the other end, to be fair.
No, Ruben Boutons, a traditional pole position, I suppose we could say, and it is by, would you believe it, nearly half a second.
Yes, I would believe that. I would believe it a lot.
But we've got someone coming in the pit, Spanners.
It is, so that's number 16.
That's Tyler Mays.
It's Tyler Mays, so maybe that's the reason then. He's unhappy with the kart.
Yeah, he gets to draw another kart, so he's pulled a number out and he's going to go to it. Hopefully, it's a kart that has been out in action and is still slightly warm. He won't really want to be in anything that's cold. In fact, no, I think he's making the draw here, is he?
Well, he's made the draw, and now there's some discussion about whether he's accepting that, and I think they're accepting the first one that's been drawn, so he's going to be hopping into what is currently the 21 kart. They don't change the numbers, do they? So.
No. Now you can see in the pits there, he carried those 2 blue-looking boxes. Those are the weights. Everyone must be weighted up to 90 kilos, and the track provides weights, which is what we've seen Tyler Mays holding there. Those blue weights, the different weights are different colour coded, and he's loading them into the side of the kart. Everyone has to weigh 90 kilos minimum. Tyler Mays needing those weights to bring himself up to that weight limit.
James, he's 8 foot tall. How is he not making the weight?
He's 8 foot tall with a waistline of about 13 inches, so I think that's where it comes from.
He's not getting fed, James.
Clearly needs to eat a burger. But he's loaded it up to bring up to 90 kilos. Now, we've also been seeing a lot of drivers with a seat insert that brings them more precisely to the 90 kilos. And this case, though, Tyler Mays is purely using the track's weight. Certainly, the more regular European drivers will have a seat made, weighted up to precise their amount. Of course, it was comical a couple of years ago with the very young Guillermo van Pamelen. He was noted for having a weighted seat that actually was his own personal body weight. He was that small, that light.
It took a team to shovel that in.
It did. He couldn't lift it. It was hilarious. He couldn't lift his own seat. It was that loaded up with lead. Meantime, Tyler Mays is now racing his way round to join the starting lineup. We're expecting him to take a 10th and last start, which of course is where he qualified and probably why he chose the option of switching kart. So Ruben Boutens, of course, all this time the karts are getting colder, the tyres are getting colder. Spanners, I'm assuming it's pretty cold down there still from the warmth of the commentary box.
Well, I didn't want to complain. You know me, never one to whinge, James, but I am freezing. I'm doing a dance and a jig as the race gets underway.
Okay, so we're looking now. There is Ruben Boutens on the pole position, and there is Matthias Grooten and Johan Medart. So Ruben Boutens, he's gone quite early. They've given it green, and the start is good. So Ruben Boutens has, he's made about the best start we've seen all weekend. He's got a gap already to Matthias Grooten.
I tell you what, King's ruined the party there with a big punt up the inside of turn 1, but I don't think Medart will be happy. He tried to make a move up the inside, and has he lost out a place?
Yes, he has. Medart has lost a place. Stephen King has made the move and is up into third place. Incredible performance there. Ruben Boutens leads away, but look at it. The purple helmet there is Stephen King, and he has passed Johan Medart, the reigning Belgian champion.
Yeah, I think he might have been, he made contact before they went to the start-finish line at the second place driver there, number 9. Who's in second place for me, James?
Yeah, we got a lot of bumping and boring at the back there, and Andrew Duff looks like the big loser. Tyler Mays is trying to make up positions. The leaders are still Ruben Boutens from Matthias Grooten, and Stephen King is holding off Johan Medart as they enter the backstretch. There they are. There's Boutens. There is Grooten. And there is Stephen King with the purple helmet, followed by Johan Medart and Richard Jute as well.
Pit.
It's Medart.
So yeah, Stephen King had a big spoiler there getting in front of Medart, and Medart's gone, right, I've just got to cut my losses now because it was unfortunate. It was a great move by King, but he was so focused, Medart, on attacking Grooten right around that final turn, even before they'd got going, that he ended up losing out. So now he's going to be on a mission to set quali lap after quali lap.
Absolutely. Yesterday we were maybe underestimating Stephen King, and certainly Johan Medart had underestimated Stephen King. He's now running a fairly comfortable third behind the double world champion, or former double world champion, Matthias Grooten. Now Matthias Grooten, vastly experienced Belgian, arguably the leader of the Blue Star team, but over previous years, but now been running as Blue Star 2. And as you pointed out yesterday, Spanners, I wonder who had the dubious honour of informing Matthias Grooten that he was going to be in Blue Star 2 as opposed to Blue Star 1.
I imagine that they wrestle for it. That's what I'm imagining.
Yes, I should imagine it was probably one of the more senior members had to put that particular fact forward. But as it happens, it is a Blue Star 1 driver, Ruben Boutens, the world champion from 2017 and 2018. There he is on screen. He is also the reigning British champion, and he has been the champion of this event ever since it came to Formula Fast here in 2014. So arguably there's no better driver in the world around this track than Ruben Boutens. However, he's probably facing his biggest challenge yet. Selena Balnega is the one who's leading on points, where traditionally we were saying it's Ruben Boutens at this stage.
Is that you betting against Boutens, is it? That's brave.
For once, it's a case of, it's a bit more like the betting is evens, isn't it? Because only a real fool would ever bet against Ruben Boutens, because we have seen him on the back foot and come out of it. But this looks like being his toughest year so far, and one of his toughest challenges we have seen win the previous race, which of course was Selena Balnega. Here is Ruben Boutens though. He's pulling away slightly from in picture now. There's Matthias Grooten. Matthias Grooten was the world champion way back in 2008. He repeated that in 2015 and has always been regarded as one of the world's finest. One of the world's benchmarks, Matthias Grooten, just as much back then as he is today. There he is, Matthias Grooten. Very few people know how to drive a kart better than him. Ruben Boutens is one of those who can match him, but even Ruben Boutens will tip a deferential hat to Matthias Grooten, possibly the most respected driver in the world, Matthias Grooten, along with the likes of Ruben Boutens. So there is Matthias Grooten in camera. He's running second place. A great strategic brain. Matthias Grooten, alongside those World Championships where he's been racing individually, he also has great amounts of success in the endurance races, which of course arguably is Blue Star Racing's greatest sort of focus. They do field teams where it's multi-driver, in multi-driver races like 24-hour races, and of course, as you can imagine, they're very strong, possibly the finest team in the world.
I'm not going to argue with that at all, but I am just keeping half an eye on Massey and Duff, who are looking quite punchy. I think that's where we're going to see some action. But for Johan Medart, that's bad news. In fact, that's resolved itself as Massey decides he's had enough of trying to get past Duff, clatters the entry board, so the marshals are going to have to fix that, and goes for a very aggressive pit stop. But he's been really fighty, but that's good news for Johan Medart, because that's one more out of the way.
It's the only thing that's going to make Johan Medart's strategy work, I think, Spanners, because he pitted really without thought of what he was going to come out behind, more a case of what he was pitting away from. Another one in.
Yeah, that's Richard Jutes in, Milton Keynes, local driver coming in for a very slick pit stop, but it's going to put him behind Johan Medart, which I think he'll be fine with.
That's right, Richard Jute, he lives in Milton Keynes, but he is South African, in fact, by birth, and definitely when you talk to him, he's as South African as they come, isn't he? And certainly Richard Jute, so you interviewed him yesterday, Spanners. That's a great shot of Matthias Grooten, the former world champion. Seems an awful long time ago that he won that initial title in 2008. Another one in.
11 years ago, wow. Number 14, Robin Kazam, one of those drivers who can pop up with a surprise. At the moment, though, he's going to come out behind Richard Jute, so not going great for Robin today. And
fair to say, Spanners, it's a good job you're not on the pit wall for any of these drivers, because your maths is awful. 2008 is 12 years ago now, not 11.
You're not the boss of maths, James. Don't gatekeeper me.
I failed maths as well, but maybe I shouldn't be on the pit wall either. Maybe we should both have a punt at spotting for somebody and really mess their race up.
Any volunteers to let me be their spotter? I will do team radio live from the pit lane.
Excellent. Well, let's talk about spotting races. We're looking at a great midfield battle there with Andrew Duff and Tyler Mays. Now, Tyler Mays, we saw him make that kart switch, and Tyler Mays is tearing through the pack. He's now at Andrew Duff. Andrew Duff with the black helmet is being chased down by Tyler Mays. Tyler Mays in the red, white, blue helmet with the GoPro on. That's going to show some incredible pictures at the end of this. Hopefully that'll be on Facebook.
Pit. It's Grooten who's come into the pits. I think he's going to come out safely on his own, but it's a good pit stop, and he's being urged on by his pit crew to go out as the pit lane is occupied by Ben Churchill, who's getting his pit stop out of the way. He's going to come out safely as well behind Richard Jute. Kazam, beg your pardon, Kazam.
Yeah, and interesting here, we've got Tyler Mays being joined by Johan Medart. So Johan Medart is now on screen there. There's Andrew Duff, there's Tyler Mays and Johan Medart. Now, Johan Medart is, he's made a pit stop. Tyler Mays and Duff haven't. Johan Medart's movement through the field has been so rapid that this is a problem. And to ever think of saying that Tyler Mays is going to be someone who's in the way seems like a pretty crazy thing to say, but I think we would say that in this case because Johan Medart is finding his movement forward through the field stifled. He tried to pit to get around the now second place Stephen King, and all this time Stephen King is putting in fast laps and it's negating Medart's plan.
Well, if Andrew Duff even wanted to be aware and get out of Johan Medart's way, he can't really, can he? Because he's got Tyler Mays behind him, and they're fighting for a genuine place.
Yeah, this is a battle for position. There's no blue flag involved, and it's costing Johan Medart more than half a second per lap, according to the timing.
Ouch.
So this is really unravelling now for the Belgian champion. There's Stephen King, and Stephen King is the one who's forced Medart into this situation. It's the threat of Stephen King not being as fast as Medart would like to be, albeit Stephen King running in second.
Oh, really?
He's running very quickly indeed. that forced Medart into that early pit stop, and it's hurting Medart and benefiting this driver we're looking at, Stephen King. An incredible showing there by King.
I think as well, it's just that how aggressive King was probably told Medart that even if he did get back past, King wasn't going to lie down and accept it. So I think just getting away from that battle was a smart move. It's just this in front. I mean, on another race, on another day, these guys have pitted by now, and it's paid off.
Yeah, we've never seen Stephen King race this well in the BRKC. He's good, but he's really putting on quite a show this weekend. It's an incredible performance by King, and he's running second there. Ruben Bouten's in the lead. King is hanging on as best he can, but he's been chased down by Matthias Grooten. Grooten is there on picture. There's Grooten, so we can see the gap visually. There's King. Sorry, that was Grooten, sorry, apologies. Who are we looking at there? There's Matthias Grooten, and he's trying to close down on Stephen King. Now, Stephen King has a double world champion in front of him and a double world champion behind him, so no pressure, Spanners.
No, that is very, yeah, that is a very fine place to find yourself in. Hey, look at Medart, he's done it, hasn't he?
Yeah, let's have a look at Medart. Has he moved ahead? I can't quite. Yes, he has, Spanners. So Johan Medart has finally been able to get ahead of Duff and Tyler Mays.
And there we go, into the pits then. 21, Tyler Mays, after all that effort that Medart put getting past and doing it very well, Mays decides to get himself out of the way, and he slots in behind Ben Churchill. And probably have to say, Tyler's lost a lot of time behind Duff.
Yeah, and Medart's trouble is good news for Stephen King. He's still currently running in second place. King has not pitted, but he is running in second place. He's been chased down by Matthias Grooten, but the gap seems to be staying stagnant to Grooten. We're looking at Johan Medart. Now, Johan Medart, he was forced into a rushed pit stop by King, and it really, has to be said, hasn't quite worked out for him. No Connemara steam to the front there by Johan Medart there. He's had to fight his way through. He pitted, and everything in front of him has been a fight. He's not had people jump out of his way. As we've seen, other people get slightly lucky. We've seen Medart be unlucky. It's Medart on screen, but he's clearly pulling away now from Duff and Jute behind. Johan Medart there, he's the current Belgian national champion. That was at the end of last year. Johan Medart also one of the best drivers in the world. There's Andrew Duff, perennial BRKC competitor Andrew Duff. It's the 10th anniversary, and we've seen Andrew Duff in action every year, but he's been chased down by Richard Jute, the South African. Richard Jute has won this weekend already, so Andrew Duff is really getting his work cut out to stay ahead of the South African who lives in Milton Keynes.
It's worth saying, Andrew Duff, last two results in BRKC, 78th, 57th, being made to look somewhat ordinary in this field. He would definitely beat us at go-karting.
Yeah, he would beat most people because it's very deceptive, the high standard here this weekend. We are seeing the best drivers in the world for indoor karting here. So someone like Andrew Duff, yes, he's running mid-pack, but in any given sort of random championship, he'll be at the front and he will be winning. You know, that's his normal situation. The world champion's in the pit.
As butterflies, unicorns and deer race serenely through the pit lane, Ruben Bouten's joins them and calmly goes into the pits to slot
Spanners,
himself
let me cut in outside
King.
your view. Jute had crashed. Jute has crashed. Richard Jute, the previous winner, has crashed, and he's now in the clutch of Robin Kassam. He got going again, but battling with Andrew Duff. He actually ended up being in the wall, it looked like, certainly facing not the right way, really, and he's been caught now by Kassam in his own recovery. So that really does help Andrew Duff, who's in 5th place. Richard Duke maintains 6th, but a long way back.
What a contrast between the serene picture I was painting of Ruben Bouten's pit stop. But
King.
Stephen King comes in now for his pit. His only threat really will be, does he come out awkwardly side to side with Andrew Duff? He's slotted in behind. Is that for position?
Oh my goodness, yes, in his position. Duff has not pitted,
right.
But yeah, that's not what he needed, because of course what happened, Medart was struggling behind the drivers such as Duff, and now Stephen King maybe. So Duff, well, he's got 7 minutes before the end of the race, well, 7.5 minutes actually, just under. This could be the situation going back to Johan Medart a little bit, because Stephen King has got to pass Andrew Duff. There they are passing you now, Spanners.
Yep, and he's not directly on it. Oh, he is. He's made a move up the inside.
He has.
I tell you what, I'm not going to say that Andrew
Duff's
Duff
got it back.
Was caught napping there, but certainly I think Stephen King had kind of made it seem as if he was not going to make a move, and it was quite late. So interesting to see what the marshals make of that.
Duff got it back, and King's now made the move and made it stick, but Duff's got it back again. And here comes Richard Jute. Richard Jute's passing the pair of them. Down the backstretch, it's Richard Jute. He's making the move. Stephen King's been elbowed down the order by Richard Jute and Robin Kassam. An incredible battle.
And there's a problem with his kart. There's a problem with his kart from that manoeuvre. And there's yellow flag. No, it's green. The track's still green.
He's got going. Did he actually catch the wall or something?
Yeah, I think he got clattered by several karts and then came to a full stop that he didn't want to do, and then the engine's cut out.
This plays into the hands of Johan Medart. Stephen King, this is going to be a judge of his composure now. This is really important that Stephen King maintains his composure because, okay, he might be out of the fight with Medart, lucky for Medart, but he's going to be very much into a fight with Andrew Duff, etc. Duff, of course, is yet to pit. He's one of the few up at the front who has not, so you'll be seeing him anytime soon, Spanners. But there's Stephen King. He's ahead of Tyler Mays, which is arguably crucial.
Yeah, and speaking of composure, shout out to the composure of the marshals there, who, for the fluidity of the race, came out onto track, quickly assessed where everything was, realised that he had a chance to get the engine running and get back off track, and that's benefited everyone.
It has to be said that the success of the British Rental Kart Championship over the years and the quality of it and the drivers it attracts is a lot down to the... Andrew Duff comes in.
Andrew Duff comes in. He's made himself a feature of this race, and he's going to come out well behind Stephen King, who has had obviously that problem with his car and the problem, but he's definitely made his mark on this race, and that was some really fine racing with Stephen King.
Yeah, some unbelievably tough racing. As I was saying, the quality of the event is a lot down to the Formula Fast team here. The marshalling, they get karting, you know, they're not just saying, oh, this, and, you know, they're not making silly calls or anything. They know what's a karting nudge, and they know that gentle contact is made at this level, but then they do penalise crazy contact.
Yeah, it's been fair. I've liked the bad pass system where, you know, they can avoid a penalty by just giving that place back, and it's worked really well.
Yeah, Phil Stanley runs a tight show here at Formula Fast, and it's hard to look beyond this as Britain's finest circuit, really, isn't it?
Well, I'm definitely going to say nice things because my boy's joining their cadet programme, and I want him to get favourable decisions from the marshals.
Okay, so meantime on screen we have the former double world champion Ruben Boutens. Now he is the reigning British champion. He's from Holland. He comes over for this event as he travels to all the other major championships. He won the Polish Championship among others last year. I was commentating on that. That's Remy Drazga's championship. So Remy Drazga's in the pits at the moment. If you fancy doing the Polish Championship over there in Szczecin, he's the man to talk to. There's a contact warning for Stephen King. It is only a warning. It's not a penalty, but it clearly shows his intent.
It was a big move, you know, into turn one, and it came from quite far back. I think Duff would have been surprised, to say the least.
Yeah, and there's also a contact warning for Tyler Mays.
Yep, lots of contact. And,
yes.
And the thing is, Mays and King are on track together now, so it's probably not the last of it.
No, absolutely. Maybe another warning in there somewhere. But Ruben Boutens, who we're looking at there, he has got this race in the bag, and that's saying something when you're dealing with Matthias Grooten. Now, there's Stephen King and Tyler Mays. So we're just talking about them. Both of these drivers have contact warnings, and we've just been saying about how Formula Fast guys, they do know their karting. They know how to read the situations and the event, and so for these two guys both to get a warning, it must have been fairly serious indeed. But Stephen King fighting a rearguard action there.
I think the contact warning is a good way of putting it. It effectively means calm down, but at some tracks they have the calm down board, and there's nothing more guaranteed to get you to not calm down than someone flashing the calm down board.
Yes, because never in the history of calm down has anyone actually calmed down, have they?
Try it at home, guys. See if it works.
Exactly. So it's probably the right way of putting it. Certainly the standard here is very high of the officialing and the driving, and some of the high standard driving has come from these two here, Tyler Mays, but they've actually been joined in battle by Ben Churchill. Ben Churchill isn't a driver we've actually been mentioning much so far in the tournament, but Ben Churchill is in this fight now. It's a three-way fight with Stephen King and Tyler Mays over sixth place. Now someone in the pits is there. No, they're just a bit of a deep run into the corner.
Nearly an accidental pit stop.
Yeah, that's right. So there's Stephen King defending the inside from Tyler Mays. So Stephen King comes around the crane corner here now, and I think that's a good name for it, actually, the crane corner, isn't it, with the great camera view we've been getting. So there's Ruben Boots across the line. There is Andrew Duff, who's very much been a feature of this race, the robust Andrew Duff. And of course, it's his brother that runs the catering unit outside, the Bandit Catering, isn't it? Of which we have not had a burger this weekend.
I would have been a lot nicer about Andrew Duff if I'd have known that, to be honest, James.
I'd have been a lot nicer if they brought a burger up here. Okay, meantime, clearly not having had too many burgers is Andrew King and, Stephen King and Tyler Mays. But Ben Churchill there is really keeping them honest. I mean, Ben Churchill's been around a good while now as well. He knows how to pedal a kart. And he has but the race leader, actually, Ruben Boutens, I think he's catching this battle, isn't he?
I think he'll be all right. I think he'll handle it, but he's got a big old lead, hasn't he?
Yeah, so the race leader and reigning British champion Ruben Boutens is catching this battle with Stephen King, Tyler Mays, Ben Churchill. There's a minute to go, so arguably, do we think we're looking at, Spanners? 3 laps to go, maybe? Because it's like to the end of the timing, then one?
Yes. I'm going to just say yes.
And in fact, Ruben Boutens has caught them. It is going to be a factor. There's Ruben Boutens we're looking at on screen, and he has caught the King-Mays-Churchill battle. So Churchill has moved out the way. He's trying to let Ruben Boutens through without losing time. He's done it. Now that's opened up the gap then to Mays and King. So Ben Churchill being very helpful, but obviously has lost time as a result. Now here comes King. There's Mays in the white suit behind him, and there is the race leader Ruben Boutens, the reigning British champion. So a great shot there, Ruben Boutens in crane curve, and there is King, there is Mays, and then it's the British champion Ruben Boutens. So yeah, it's worked out. There's now a little bit of a gap, so there's a bit less pressure on Boutens. Not that he's under pressure, but Boutens is only 2.4 seconds behind.
I don't think you've got the power to just name the corner.
I may not, but I'm doing it nominally.
Well, I'm getting one then. It's the left-right kink over the start-finish. That's the Spanners kink. All right, there we go.
Yeah. That's a bit on... So they're coming to the Spanners kink now, which is actually the start line. So they've gone through kinky Spanners, and there is Ruben Boutens closing in on the King and Mays battle through the revised layout. This, of course, the last time we're going to be seeing the hairpins of the revised layout. Quick shot there. Now we're back with the world champion. Now the world champion, the former world champion, has got ahead of Tyler Mays, and that has taken the pressure off Stephen King, oddly enough, because Tyler Mays is now no longer in contact with him. It's the last lap. The checker's coming out. King is going to have to do another lap, but the flag goes out to Boutens and Mays, and therefore backwards. So Stephen King has to do another lap because the checker came out behind him. But there is the race winner. Ruben Boutens is back on stream, really, in terms of results. We'd seen him struggle a bit, but Ruben Boutens has put another win in the bag, and that keeps his points total up there with a view to making the semi-final, and from his point of view, the final itself.
Now we've seen a lot of different reactions to crossing the start-finish line, James.
Yep.
We've seen people fist pumping. We've seen people slamming the steering wheel in frustration. Ruben just looked at the guy waving the checkered flag and calmly acknowledged him with a flick of the hand. And that's the mode he's in. If it's not the final, that's the mode he's in.
Absolutely, and those who've been watching over the years, there's Matthias Grooten just locking up in the pit lane. There's that little bit of a practice stop there from the former champ. And Johan Medart. Now, Johan Medart, an inspired pit stop. Then it looked to be going wrong, and then because of all the action, it turned out right for him. Spanners down to you in the pit lane.
It was a quietly good race from Medart, because he
in the end
started off in third, lost out early on to King, who we absolutely must have a word with. So Stephen, come and have a chat with me when you get out of the pit lane. But he was right to just get out of that battle, because King was so fighty that he was always going to lose time. And we'll see if Ruben will come over and have a chat with us as well. I do love mugging people straight out of the car, especially after an emotional fight like that. Oh, Stephen, firstly, amazing performance. You were just in there cage fighting throughout the whole round. Early on, Johan Medart in front of you, a fantastic driver, big feature of this championship, and you just thought, I'll have him.
Well, the way forward for me is everyone's the same. There's no one who I think's better than me or anything like that. I just go out there thinking everyone's the same and I can do as good as everyone else. So that's my mentality.
I mean, you forced Johan Medar essentially to pit out of that race because he knew he didn't want to deal with you anymore.
Yeah, exactly. I'm quite a tough customer, to be honest with you. Once you get behind me, you ain't getting back past me easily. And yeah, I like to put up a good fight, if not pull away, you know. So
fantastic. You've been very impressive. Thank you very much for talking to me. He's off now to compete in some cage fighting championships, I think. Wow, you can see it in his eyes. He meant it. He is here to stamp his authority and his personality on track, not quite in the same way as this guy has. Ruben, a casual wave of the hand to the guy waving the checkered flag. The problem everyone has is, in these rounds, you make it look so easy that we don't realise how much you've got left in reserve.
Well, I don't keep anything in reserve. I go full out every round, but yeah, my qualification was excellent this time, which was the key for the win, I think, because in race pace, Johan, Matthias and I were all within 1/10, I think. So yeah, the qualification was very important, and it was one of my best laps in a long time. So yeah, comfortable race after that.
Every year we say the field strength has grown, and every year it does grow. This year in particular, the field is frighteningly competitive.
Yeah, it's extremely competitive. It's drivers from all over Europe that I'm facing all year long in different championships are now together in one weekend. So yeah, it's not getting easier this year.
This is still your competition, and they've got to come and take it from you. You feeling good?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I think I did well so far, 2 wins and a 3rd place, so I'm right in the top of the ranking, and I have to stay focused on every race. So
fantastic. Well, you do get a shiny to add to your massive collection. Thank you very much. It was great watching you on track. Ruben Boutin's there. Every year we go, oh, he's really under threat, but he says he's not got anything in reserve. When it comes to the semi-finals and the finals, you do see a different driver. You will see his body language changing, and we've got next to us. How did your race go? It was so fighty out there, like it was properly physical.
Yeah, it was really hard, this race, because I think in quali there was a wet spot in the last corner, and I understeered a lot on my quali lap, and at the start too.
How much time do you want to give yourself back in a League of Justice for that qualifying lap?
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
2/10. Let's give you 2/10.
Maybe 5/10 because I was ahead of Ruben. No. But honestly, I'm happy because I almost switched karts before the start because everyone else had struggled with it. But yeah, just made it work, and yeah, happy that we have a Blue Star 1, 2, 3. So yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. A great race. Good to watch. Have a good rest of the competition. We're going to take a little break now, I think, James, as they reshape the track back to its alpha formation.